Hi, I'm going to try and do PCB etching by converting a 3D printer into a pen plotter. Well, I actually failed to etch the PCB copper as the acid I was using wasn't nearly strong enough. However, it wasn't an entirely fruitless adventure. The reason for me wanting to look into this is for an alternative to prototyping with a mess of wires. So I definitely knew that I didn't want to use industrial grade PCB etchant, as after a quick search it's quite apparent that it's rather difficult to dispose of. So I looked around for other solutions. One that comes up is hydrogen peroxide and hydrochloric acid. Again, it can be awkward to dispose of, but also it's quite hard to buy hydrochloric acid. I then saw mentioned that you can potentially use hydrogen peroxide and vinegar, which is ideal really because it's easy to get hold of and also easy to dispose of. So I settled on this as a plan. This approach sadly proved to be too good to be true, as only a thin surface layer of copper was corroded. The next important step is to convert my 3D printer into a pen plotter. So I went about searching for projects that already have a pen holder for my Ender 3, and I settled on this project. It looks quite a neat solution. So I'll get the files and print this pen holder. For ease, I wanted to be able to convert an SVG-to-G-Code that would be used with the pen plotter. I wasn't able to find a script which did exactly what I want, so here is a custom script for converting a SVG to a G-code file. It works quite nicely. I can specify an offset for the image, and I can specify the width and height of the SVG. I did think it would be quite hard to align the pen plotter so that the drawing is where I wanted it, but all you have to do is make sure your G-code doesn't have a home command, and then if you disable the stepper motors, you just position the pen where you want to start in a pen down position, and then the drawing will just be offset from that point. Using KCAD, I'm just going to make a very basic PCB with a LED and a button, a Hello World project, so to speak. So I need 2 parts hydrogen peroxide to 1 part vinegar and a pinch of salt. So this time I used more solution, a lot more salt, and I used a hot water bath, and the results are pretty much the same. Perhaps if I had more concentrated hydrogen peroxide, it would work, but I would have to go to a specialist to get stronger hydrogen peroxide. The appeal of this method was all the ingredients were off the shelf. So it's been in the solution for about an hour, and clearly it hasn't worked out. It wasn't all for nothing, as the SVG to G-code script led to a neat way of making book cover art. In conclusion, PCB etching at home is not really viable. CNC carving of PCBs is probably the best solution.